Hey, mathematicians. We are working on page 77 for our assignment for this early week. Um, Remember, moving in from partial products into other strategies like our standard algorithm for multiplication. So, page 77 in our home connections book is where we're starting. This is called Multiplication Models and More, page 1 of 2. We're just doing page 1 today. Page 2 will be your optional assignment if you wish to do that for today. So it says there are a variety of ways to multiply two digit numbers. Use the model or strategy described in each box to solve the multiplication combination in that box. So number 1, it says make an easier combination by doubling one factor and having the other. So remember, when we double in half, we have to think about what the numbers can we double, what numbers can we have to make it easier. The example they give is 25 times 48. So they're doubling the 25 to make it 50, and then they're halving. Hopefully that's clear. It looks a little blurry on my screen. So they're dividing 48 by 2 to get 24, and they are doubling 25 or timesing it by 2 to get to 50. Then, so 25 times 48 becomes 50 times 24. They're saying, we want to say, oh yeah, well, we can go 50. If we double 50, that gives us 100. And if we half 24, if we divide that by 2, that gives us 12. So 50 times 24 becomes 100 times 12. And then we've been working with our hundreds and tens for a few weeks now. We remember 100 times 12 is the same as 1 times 12, which is 12 to the hundredth. So replace value with 2 zeros. 1, 2 becomes 1200. Okay. So same thing with the problem underneath it, 25 times 72. So we already know that 25 we can double. 25 times 2 is 50. And then if we divide 72 by 2, or if we divide 72 in half, if we divide that in half, 72 in half is 36. So 72 divided by 2 is 36. So now I'm left with 50 times 36. Okay, so 25 times 72 becomes 50 times 36. I'm going to do the same thing we did up here. I'm going to make 50, double that. 50 times 2 is 100. So I need to divide 36 by 2. And 36, half of 36 is 18. So 25 times 72 all the way essentially becomes the same as 100 times 18. We can do this in our head. 100 times 18 is 1,800. Okay, number 2, use an area model divided into 4 regions. This is our classic partial product with our 4 regions. So we're going to make our rectangle. So go ahead and draw your rectangle. Get as big as you can. There's not a lot of space, but draw it as big as you can. And we're going to split the 14 into 10 and 4 on the left-hand side there. And then we're going to split 27 into what? Good. 20 and 7. Okay, so we split 14 into 10 and 4, the 27 into 20 and 7. Now we are multiplying. So I like to start with the 4 times 7 first. I like to do the 7s first. 4 times 7 is 28. And then I like to do the 10 times 7. 10 times 7 is 70. You can go in any order you want. Just make sure that you get those in there. And then we're going to do 4 times 20. We'll come in this area down here. 4 times 20 is 80. Good. And then our big area here is the 10 by 20 square. 10 by 20 squares, 10 times 20. And that is 200. Okay, and then last step is add them up. So we will add up 200. Let's do 80 plus 70 plus 28. And remember, we talked about if you want to split any, if you can do some of these in your head and you want to put those in, write those in your head. Like, for instance, I know that 200 plus 80 is 280. So that's those two combined. I can do those in my head. And I also know what 70 plus 28 is. I know that 7 plus 2 is 9. 8 plus 0 is nothing. So I know that 70 plus 28 is 98. So you can also do it that way. That's like a partial product, but with just two numbers. So either way, when we just add them up, let's see if we got the same answers for both of them. What do we say? All right. So 0, 0, 0, 0 plus 8 is 8. 0, let's see, 8 plus 7, that's 15. 15 plus 2 is 17. Carry my 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Whoa, that is really not a lot of room there, is it? I should have switched those around. I am sorry if this is blurry today, guys. I do not know what's going on. Let me see if that... Whew. All right. Didn't really help. All right, 280 plus 98. Let's see. 8. 8 plus 9 is 17. Carry my 1. 3 plus 1 plus 2 is 3. Yep, same thing. 378. So 27 times 14 is 378. Okay, so this number 3 says use an area model divided into two regions. Two regions. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to draw a rectangle. We haven't really worked on this before. We haven't done the two region model yet. So this might be new to some of you. Our two region model. Let me get a little closer. Maybe that'll help. Oh, sorry for taking long. Okay. So use an area model divided into two regions. So basically what we're doing here is we're either splitting up the 13 into 10 and 3 and leaving the 34, or we're splitting up the 34 into 30 and 4 and leaving the 13. Either way, I think I'm going to leave the 13 and split the 30 and 4. So this is just another way. So if you think you know what some of these are, then it's easier to do that. So you could split the 13 into 10 and 3, but using the two regions, just practicing getting more and more used to not having to split those numbers up. Okay, so 13 times 30. Well, I'm going to look at 13 times 3, and I know 13 times 3 is 39. But I have it's by 10, so I have to put that 0 on the end. So 13 times 30 is 390. And then 13 times 4, so it's going to be 13 more than 39. That is really shaking. Sorry. 13 times 4 is 52. And then we add up 390 plus 52. 390 plus 52. 9 plus 5 is 14. Carry my 1. 442. So 34 times 13 is 442. Okay. So that's the two region model. We're going to work on those in class more. Okay. Okay. Number 4. Multiply to get 4 partial products and add them up. Okay. So what they did here is they did the bow tie method and they showed each section that we're multiplying, right? So it's just like our 4 partial product up here. We're just taking them out and we're not putting them in a box this time. We're just writing them out here. The only thing I don't like the way that they do this is they switch it up. They do it differently than I would do it. I would write 8 times 5 first because that's the first thing we do. We do 8 times 5. We multiply the ones place. So 8 times 5 really should be up top, but I see why they write it this way because you want the bigger number up top while you're adding. It's just easier to line up. So we're actually going to look at both of those ways in class. For this, we're going to write it the way that we would write it in terms of the process of the standard algorithm, and then we will add them up. So first thing we would do is 5 times 8, or 8 times 5. So that's down here. 8 times 5 is, good, it's 40. So I just need to remember to line these numbers up as I go. So I have to make sure my numbers are all lined up here, okay? The next thing is 8 times 30. So first you go up, then you go diagonal. So 8 times 3, or 8 times 30. 8 times 30 is 240. You notice how I lined up my zeros, my 4s, and my 2 is out here by itself. 1s, 10s, 100s. Okay, next one is diagonal. So it's really 20 times 5. 20 times 5. That is 100. Good. I'm lining those numbers up. 1s, 10s, 100s. Last one is 20 times 30, going up. 20 times 30. 600. And I see my numbers are all lined up. Sorry for the shakiness if that's making you queasy. I also want to show you this real quick. And you can write this down if you want, or just watch Mr. Mac. I'm going to split these up. I'm going to write my 20 and my 8 here just to show you the partial product, how that looks. And you're going to see the exact same numbers here as in our box, okay? 30 and 5. So 8 times 5 is 40. So 35 times 28. So 8 times 5 is 40. There's my 40. Let's see if we can find the 240. That would be 8 times 30. There's my 240. There we go. And then 20 times 5. 20 times 5. Look at that. There's 100. And then my last big area here is 20 times 30. 20 times 30 is 600. And so we're doing the exact same thing here in our step by step, just taking the numbers and writing them out as we do in our partial product with our boxes, okay? And this way it's already written out to add up. So when we add them up, 0, 4 plus 4 is 8, 6 plus 1 is 8, 8 plus 2 is, no, 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9. So 980, and it would be the exact same thing if I added them up here, okay? Now, on number 5, it says multiply the tens and then by the ones, add the partial products. So this is the same thing as doing just like in our number 3 here with our 2 square area models and 2 regions. Same thing here. So 25 times 23, we love the number 25. So what they did was they kept the 25, and then they just multiplied 25 times 20, and then 25 times 3, and then they just added them up. So what that would look like in our 2 region model, I'll do it first here, is we would leave our 25 as it is, and then we would split our 20 and our 3. Okay, so this time I did the 2 region model going sideways, but it's the same concept as up here. So 25 times 23. Okay, so 25 times 20, 25 times 20, or 20 times 25 is 500. And then 3 times 25 is 75. 3 times 25 is 75. So 20 times 25 is 500. How do I know that? Well, I know that 25 times 2, or if I double 25, that's just 50, right? 50. 25 times 2 is 50, but it's 25 times 20. So I have that extra 0, or I have that place value 0, the tens place, so it's actually 500. And then 25 times 3, 25, 50, 75. And then when I add them up, I get 575. Okay, so that's page 77 of our Home Connections book. And that's your assignment for today. And remember, page 78 is your challenge or your optional page for today as well. Okay, so you work on those on your own if you want to. That is optional. That's page 2 of 2. All right, good luck. Thanks for stopping in to Mr. Max Mathtopia.